So you're about to get a Quest 2, maybe for Christmas or maybe even sooner. Well, you've come to the right place, because in this video we'll go over which games you should be spending your hard-earned cash on first. Welcome back to the VRC for your VR and cool tech needs. If you're not already subscribed and you like that kind of stuff, then you should definitely hit that free subscribe button and hit the bell, which is also free. So you're thinking of entering the metaverse. I think I'll rename that. Get to the end of the video to find out what it's going to be called. And you're not so sure which games you should be buying first. There are a lot of free games and experiences you should check out too, but for this video I'll be concentrating on the things you have to pay for on the Oculus store. Also, because people are from different parts of the world, I won't be mentioning prices unless a game is particularly cheap or expensive. Now, of course, if you are getting a Quest 2, then you will need some accessories, which brings me on to the sponsor of this video, the brilliant company known as AMVR. They have been making Quest accessories for a while, and I have covered many of them on this channel. They make some nifty grips that I covered recently, perfect if you don't want to cover your controllers in silicone, and a very nice facial interface which maximises your field of view. But two of their accessories that I literally couldn't do without are their protective shell and the amazing and super cheap head padding for the stock strap. The protective shell is a no-brainer. If you do any sort of fitness or VR boxing, then at some point you're going to bash yourself in the headset. Enter the protective shell that will stop your shiny new Quest getting nasty scratches, and it will make the shiny Quest even shinier. The head pad is amazing as it works with the strap that actually comes with the Quest 2 and makes it infinitely more comfortable. What's more, because it attaches to the stock strap and it's never going to break, it's cheap and it's compact, meaning you can lie back and enjoy the virtual cinema comfortably, and it will fit into tiny cases. I've tested a lot of great Quest 2 straps, but I always end up putting this pad back onto the Quest. Check them out on Amazon. They do loads of cool accessories to improve your VR life. And now onto the games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break them down by category, since the type of games I like playing may not necessarily be the same as the games that you like. Then at the end I'll let you know which 3 games I would keep if I had to get rid of everything else. So in we go. To start us off, let's talk about rhythm games. A staple of the VR games library since people started playing VR games. Indeed, one of the biggest VR games is a rhythm game, and since it's so big, I'll call it an honourable mention. Beat Saber is one of the most famous VR games going, and for good reason. It's great for fitness, coordination, and it's bloody good fun. Not only that, but it makes you feel like a Jedi. Other rhythm games worth checking out are Synth Riders and Pistol Whip if you like shooting, but my rhythm pick is a game called Audio Trip. While it doesn't have the depth of some of the other rhythm titles, it's incredibly satisfying and incredibly fun, especially when you get to hit drums. It has some great music, and like many other rhythm games, is a decent workout too. Next up is fitness games. Honourable mentions are FitXR and Supernatural, which are both aimed at providing you with fully fledged fitness classes. However, they do both require regular payments to get the most out of them. My pick won't be a surprise to anyone who's been around this channel for a while. This game is incredibly cheap with no monthly payments. It's massive fun, and in my opinion is the biggest and best workout you can get in VR. And don't give me any of that Beat Saber Expert plus wrist waggling rubbish that you can maintain indefinitely. My pick for the best fitness is a killer of men. It is none other than Thrill of the Fight, the VR boxing game. A game that has zero game mechanics. It's just you, your fitness, and your pumping heart against your virtual opponents. I have never been as tired in VR or real life than when playing this game. Next we have sport games. Now, if I'm honest, Thrill of the Fight probably wins this category too, but since we've already mentioned it, I'm going to ignore it for now. Honourable mention goes to the beautiful golf game, Walkabout Mini Golf. More on that later. And if it wasn't free, I'd talk about the fantastic Echo VR, which is a whole futuristic sport in itself. But my pick for the best paid-for sports game is 11 Table Tennis. The problem with sports games is that it's sometimes hard to recreate a sport that requires all 4 limbs in virtual reality. However, table tennis translates perfectly into virtual reality. In fact, I'd say that it's better in VR since you never have to go and get the ball. 11 Table Tennis plays perfectly and also looks great. Now on to puzzle games, of which there are many on the Quest. Honourable mentions for the chilled out cubey puzzler Cubism and the game that expects you to die die.
I expect you to die.
Both parts 1 and 2. But for me, still the best puzzler is one of the oldest, and it's a game you can enjoy with your family and friends too. That is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. One player's in VR trying to defuse a bomb, and the other players have a printed out bomb defusal manual trying to help you do it. By deciphering different codes and sequences, they'll help you cut the right wires, and it's not always red, and input the right codes to help you save the day. Or as often happens, they tell you the wrong thing and you start arguing, they start arguing with each other, thus ruining Christmas and having all future Christmases cancelled. But seriously, it's really good and usually cheap. Onward to the military shooters, and I've just told you which one's my favourite already. Honourable mentions go to Zero Caliber and Contractors, which are both great, but my favourite is still the game that seemed a bit broken when it was released, but despite that was still tons of fun, and that is Onward, the slow burning military simulator that is kind of like Armour in VR. It'll get you working as a tight unit against other real or computer controlled opponents. It has all the army gear and lots of ideas, and you can even fly drones to help spot the enemy. Sticking with shooters, and specifically arena shooters, honourable mentions now to Blast On and Population 1, which are both a lot of fun. Blast On is kind of like Duel from Gladiators, if you remember that, but instead of giant cotton buds, you have an array of weapons to shoot your opponent with. Population 1 is basically Fortnite in VR, but not as silly. You can end up spending a lot more on in-game items though, so I'll keep it as an honourable mention, despite the fact that it is amazingly good. But my pick for this category is Hyperdash. Hyperdash is massive fun and hugely satisfying when you play with friends. Unlike some other games, it's still a lot of fun when you're on the rubbish team as well. It's a futuristic shooter with your usual selection of weapons, shields and power-ups, and was the first ever game to get a VRC Neon Award for 10 out of 10, and it still is the only game to have ever got it, but I never did review Thrill of the Fight. If you like shooters, then definitely get Hyperdash. Now on to hack and slash fighting, and honourable mention to Until You Fall, which is lots of fun and looks really pretty, but as it's one of those roguelike games that annoy me, I'm going to keep it as an honourable mention. As is Blade and Sorcery Nomad, which is based on the fantastic sandbox fighting VR game on the PC. It's pretty darn good on the Quest, but it's still a bit buggy. In future, this game might get upgraded to the top pick. So before I reveal the winner in this category, if you prefer fighting with your fists and other weapons found in pubs, then Drunken Bar Fight is worth a look. There's not much depth, but the physics and the different ways to beat people up makes this game a lot of fun and good stress relief too. If you want a double dragon in VR, then Path of the Warrior is a lot of fun, though it does become a bit repetitive. The winner of this category though is Gorn. Released on Quest at the start of 2021, it's a fantastic reproduction of the PC VR Gladiator combat game with hilarious physics resulting in extremely impressive deaths. It has a great art style and almost endless replayability due to the amount of options available. And if you play in a school gym, it's one hell of a workout too. On to arcade games, and honourable mentions are the extremely famous Vader Immortal for Star Wars fans, and Super Hot, the shooter puzzler game where people only move when you do, resulting in some amazing Matrix-esque moves. For this category, I'm going to recommend Jupitergrad, the puzzling action arcade game with a Russian twist. This game has one of the coolest locomotion methods seen in any VR game. Armed with extendable plungers, you swing around like Spider-Man through a cel-shaded world, and it runs at 120 Hz on the Quest 2. It is brilliant. And on to horror games, and since VR is one of the best places to get your computer game scares, honourable mentions to Haunted House horror game Affected the Manor. More on that later. Also, Five Nights at Freddy's, which I actually refuse to play since I can't stand animatronics, but I hear it's very good. Also to Arizona Sunshine, which for many years has been the definitive VR zombie shooter, and it still holds up. For this category, I'm going to have joint winners though. They are the VR remake of Resident Evil 4 and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Which one you buy depends on what you want from VR and if you ever played the original Resident Evil. On one hand, Resident Evil 4 is based on one of the most loved Resident Evil installments, and despite limited environmental interactivity, is a fantastic game and works extremely well in VR. On the other hand, Saints and Sinners has all the features one would expect of a VR game in a post-Half-Life Alyx world, much more interactivity, loads of depth and loads of different ways to kill zombies. I won't pick for you, it all depends on what you want. I would say if you have no emotional attachments to Resident Evil 4, then maybe go for Saints and Sinners. And on to chill games. Now this is a funny category as there are many chilled out VR experiences from many different categories. For example, Cubism is a puzzle game, but it's also very chilled. Something like Job Simulator is very chilled, but kind of an arcade game. Bait is a fishing game, but is very chilled also. But my favourite chilled out experience is actually a sports game that I've already mentioned, and is Walkabout Mini Golf. I don't think I've ever been as chilled in another game as I have in Walkabout Mini Golf. From finding random balls around the golf courses to enjoying the scenery and putting some balls, everything is just so relaxing. So you can enjoy it on your own or with friends in a multiplayer mode. It's just very, very nice. And the final category is the making a fool out of people category. Now usually these are more experiences than full games, but they're all incredibly fun to throw on if you have a party. Honourable mention goes to Richie's Plank experience. It's amazing how many people totally lose all sense of reality when up on the random plank in the sky. I'm going to keep it as an honourable mention though, since it could result in damage to your Quest. There are many games in VR that would make a fool out of a VR noob, but some of them take a while to get going and aren't games where you can simply jump right in. Roller coasters can often do the trick, but they also put people off VR, so I don't tend to talk about them on this channel. My pick for a game to make a fool out of people would be the aforementioned horror game Affected the Manor. It is more an experience than a game, but ooh, what an experience it is. Perfect for next year's Halloween party.
Jesus Christ.
And that is it, the first games you should get for your Quest 2. However, if you did get every single winner, then that's still quite a lot of money. So if I was to buy just 3 of the above, which ones would I get? Well, for me, it would be the games that I could basically play forever. So I'm going to discount all the single player story games. I'm going to concentrate on fun and self-improvement and say that my 3 picks would be Thrill of the Fight, Hyperdash and Beat Saber. Ooh, but that was an honourable mention. Yeah, but let's face it, it is the best rhythm game, has multiplayer, a massive song library, and massive polish, and you do feel like a Jedi as you get better at it. So, obviously, let me know down below what you think are the first games to get for the Quest 2. I haven't played every single game, so there's bound to be some epic games that I've missed. I also haven't mentioned some categories such as space games, flying games, and driving games, simply because there's not that many offerings in those categories. But if you are looking for a space action game, then End Space is excellent. Dash Dash World is a really nice racing game in the mould of Mario Kart. And for flying, I haven't played the Warplanes game yet, so if you have and it's any good, let us know in the comments if you think it's worth buying. If you're going to get a Quest 2, then let us know. And obviously, I'd love it if you subscribe to stick around for the exciting journey into the V-verse. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be calling the metaverse from now on. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to click the thumbs up button, and thank you all so much for watching and getting this far. Don't forget, there is a big VR accessories giveaway still going on, so check out the latest tech video for that. For those waiting for the results, this video was meant to be a tech video, but I had some issues with the tech I was going to do a video about. Hopefully they will be solved very soon though. But for now, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all next time. See ya!